All right, good afternoon, guys. This is the afternoon session, the 1 o'clock session. So, welcome for those that are in here. Looks like give a minute to get some people started. If you want to say something, go right on the chat bar. So, good afternoon. Hopefully, you guys are having an amazing day. All right, got a couple people so far. If you want to stay who you are, hello. All right, we got Dylan, we got Kyle. Thanks for checking in. All right, awesome. Looks like somebody else is in here too. All right. Hi, Dylan. How you guys doing today? You guys are doing great. Okay, we'll wait about another minute or so, and then I'll get started on. If you have any questions, you can ask any questions that you may have right now in the chat bar. And then I'm going to talk about the nervous system for today. Hopefully, you had a chance. Did you guys watch the video? All right. Did you guys watch the video? You guys say yes or whatever. You can write yes or no in there. The one with Mr. Canaloo and I. All right. We got Gus in here. Hi, Gus. All right, we got Gus, Kyle, and Dylan so far. Thanks for checking in. All right, if some of you guys saw the video, excellent, good job. Thanks for watching the video and learning a little bit about the nervous system there. Okay, I'll wait maybe another minute here. We got a couple people in here. I'm going to start talking about the nervous system. If you have any questions, you can ask away. We do have a brain pop due at the end of the week, and you have a nervous system project as well. So project and brain pop with the quiz and video due on Friday. Okay. Okay, so we'll get started here right now so we can learn a little bit about the nervous system. And if you have any questions anytime, you can ask on the chat bar there. All right, so the nervous system. Let's just kind of begin with that. What do you think, what would be one of the main functions of the nervous system? What do you think, those people in here, Kyle, who else is in here? Kyle, Dylan, Gus. What would be a function of the nervous system? What do you think? What is it used for? What is it there for? If you want to type your answer in there before I kind of cover some information about it. What is its function? Yeah, brain, very good. The brain is what, like a control center, what we learned about? Okay, so it sends messages, it sends signals throughout our body, very good. So that would be a pretty good indication on what it is. So the nervous system is very important for helping maintain what they call balance or homeostasis in the human body. So it's a series of receptors that work together in the system, and they provide information about changes in both the internal and external environment. So what's happening outside the environment and happening internally within itself from you. So for example, you touch a hot stove, okay? What would be the indication there? Your hand's reaching out, you touch the stove, you pull it back. That's what response and stimulus, right? So that's going to be the indication. So if you touch a hot stove, it's going to send that signal for you to pull your hand completely back. So it's going to be hot. You're just going to read in your mind because you're touching that object. It's sending signals through your hand all the way to the brain. It says, ouch, that hurts. I'm pulling my hand all the way back. So it's sending those signals to the brain. Okay. All right. All right. So thank you for checking in here. Looks like Diego, I'm assuming, is in here too. Gus, Kyle, Dylan. So thanks for checking in here. Okay, so those are those internal and external factors or parts of the environment there. The human nervous system is a complex of interconnected systems in which larger systems are comprised of smaller subsystems, each of which have specific structures within the specific functions. So that is for the nervous system there. Now, neurons are also called nerve cells. So neurons and nerve cells are basically the same thing. So they're basic elements of the nervous system. So they do have structures and they are kind of built like a cell, okay, and have parts to them. So we're going to talk with some parts about a nerve cell or what they call a neuron. Okay, Vicente, thank you, Vicente. I got you mixed up there, Vicente, with um, who did I say? Oh, Diego. Okay, so thanks, Vicente. So we got Vicente in here as well. All right, make sure you guys are turning your projects in too. I haven't got that many projects from the last one on skeletal system. I got a fair share, but it seems like some of the numbers have gone down. Okay, so make sure you're keeping up with getting the work completed on time. Okay, all right. Now, the nucleus, they do have a nucleus in a nerve cell, which is in the middle, okay, kind of just like a cell. A nerve cell would be right in the middle. There is a cell body, okay, which is the area around the center, okay. And then you got these like branches that stick out from the nerve cell. They call these branches dendrites. They look like tree branches, okay. And those are they send these signals down these tree branches, which are going to reach receptors, what they call synapse, okay. All right, and then there's below the bottom part of the nerve cell, there's something called an axon, and then you have these terminal end fibers, and I'll explain what those parts are here shortly. Okay, so like I said, the cell body is the main processing center of the cell. The dendrites are thin branching extensions of the cell body that conduct nerve impulses toward the cell body. And then you have axon, which is a single branch in most neurons, which conducts nerve impulses away from the cell body. And they have these coverings on the axons that are like a little sheath, the myelin sheath that are covered over them. Okay, so these are the parts. So you got the cell body, you got the dendrites, which sends those signal impulses towards the cell. The axons send those impulses away from the cell. All right, so the neurons impulse transmission. So they're terminal end fibers and they're located at the end of the axon and they transmit impulses leaving neurons a synapse to the next neuron. So that's that message it sends across to the next one. Okay, looks like we got a few other people in here. Val checked in. Hi, Val. Thanks for checking in here. Any questions that you may have? And I think that is Diego. Thank you for checking in there too. So thanks for you guys stopping on in. Okay, I'm talking about nerve cells and I'm talking about the nervous system. So I'm kind of going over this first and I'll answer any questions about the project. So if you have any questions on nervous system, you could ask in there. Don't ask about the project. I'll go over that towards the end. All right, looks like Val says, is this the brain? Yes, the brain is one of the main control centers of the nervous system. Okay, all right. Yes, Kyle, I did get your project and many others in here as well. Okay. All right, so thanks for asking, but try to ask any questions pertaining to the nervous system at this time. I'll answer and open up questions towards the end about the project for this one. So hopefully you had a chance to watch Mr. Canalunai's video from this morning that we put out there on the nervous system that we did for you guys. Okay, all right, so neurons, like I said, are a nerve cell. It's just another name for a nerve cell. Okay, there are three types of neurons. I'm going to kind of talk about some of the types of neurons next. And all neurons have two basic properties. What they actually do, they conduct information and they send out signals. So excitability signals and they conduct that transmission of the signals. So from neuron A to neuron B, there's a neurotransmitter and then a synapsis. So that's like a response to and stimulus to it. Okay, it sends that message across to it. So these three types of neurons, the first type are called efferent, or meaning motor neurons. So they convey information from the central nervous system to muscles and glands. Then you have afferent neurons, also known as sensory neurons. They carry information from sensories to the central nervous system. Central nervous system is your brain and spinal cord. Think of it as that. That's the central nervous system. Those are where you're getting most of your information from. And interneurons carry and process sensory information. So they carry this information across. Okay? All right, excellent. All right, moving on to some other parts here. Like I said, there's a motor neuron, then there's a sensory neuron, and the interneuron. Those are the three main types of neurons: motor, sensory interneuron. Okay. Now, the next part here is I'm going to talk and break down a little bit of the two major components, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. So I'll explain both of these. So all bodily activities, voluntary and involuntary, those are the ability to speak, okay, involuntary things, speaking, reading, and stuff like that, things that require you to think. Involuntary are going to be like the ones that you automatically do, from walking to digesting and stuff like that. Okay, and are controlled by your central nervous system. So some things are automatic, some things that require that process to conduct that message to the next part. So two major components: central nervous system, made up of brain and spinal cords; peripheral nervous system, made up of nerves that lead into and out of the central nervous system. So these are going to be like your nerves down your arms, down your legs, and other areas. So remember, your brain and spinal cord are kind of attached as one. Sends messages down towards where your backbone would be. That's where your spinal cord would be. That's the area of the central nervous system. All right, any questions so far? All right, excellent. All right, moving on. Now, the central nervous system is composed of two major interconnected organs. That is the brain and spinal cord, as I keep reiterating, I keep saying that over. So that's what you keep hearing: central nervous system, brain, spinal cord. These organs work together to integrate and coordinate sensory and motor information for purposes of controlling various tissues, organs, and organ systems of the body. So they kind of work all together in that process. Think about it as control and coordination. That's the main process of what this body system does. Okay, it controls and coordinates our movements and our thinking and certain things like that. The central nervous system is responsible for higher neural functions such as memory, learning, and even emotions kind of come from that area as well too. Now, next I'm going to talk about is the brain. The brain weighs about 3 pounds in adults, and it's 75% water, 20% of it is oxygen, and it contains over 100 billion neurons. Okay, it's a lot. And it controls bodily functions and interactions with the outside world. Okay, so the brain is a very important organ that we have, and we need it for thinking, we need it for movement. It requires a lot of information. All right, looks like I have a question here at the bottom. Let's see here. Val says, yes, Val, they are all on BrainPop. You have to go on Clever to find it. So hopefully you log into Clever, you click Clever, and there'll be a list of different assignments on Clever for you to do. Okay, from each one. Okay, there was ones on respiratory, digestive, circulatory, skeletal. Now we're on nervous. I just assigned a nervous one for today, so it won't be due till Friday. So you'll have Friday to do it. It should be there on that screen. So double check it later on. I'll try to reassign it if it's not there when I'm done with this, but it should be it should be there. It's just called. Last one was just called skeleton. This one's called nervous system. Some of them were like labeled a little bit different, but they should be assigned under each class when I assigned it. But I'll double check it that your classes was assigned. Maybe there was a glitch, but I'll check it at the end. Okay. All right, moving on. So a couple parts of the brain I'm going to talk about next. There are 4 parts to the brain: the cerebrum, one called the diencephalons, the brainstem, and the cerebellum. Okay, so those are some of the major areas of the brain. So I'm going to kind of talk about each one next. Now, the brainstem is made up of the midbrain. And there's these areas called pons and medulla oblongata. These are some functions within the brainstem. So the midbrain is involved with visual reflexes, okay, like a reflex of a response to stimulus. Pons are located between the midbrain and the medulla oblongata, and what they do, they control sensory, certain respiratory functions, breathing, okay. Medulla oblongata is the area on the brainstem that contains centers that regulate heart and lung functioning, swallowing, coughing, vomiting, sneezing, those types of things. So things are pertaining within your heart and lung functions there. The cerebellum, okay, is an area that controls muscular skeletal movement to maintain post balance and muscle tone. Okay, so the inferior to the occipital lobes of the cerebrum. So the posterior of the pons and the medulla oblongata. So this is kind of at the very bottom part of the head is where the cerebellum would be, or part of the brain. Okay. All right. Any other questions so far? Okay, so you found it, Val. Good. I'm glad you're able to find the brain pop. Okay, so that should be on there. It should be assigned. So thanks for writing back there that you found it. So nice job. Okay. Continuing on with parts of the brain. The other one's called the cerebrum, another part of the brain. It's located above the cerebellum, more like the back part of your head. It contains two hemispheres with an outer portion called the cerebral cortex. The two hemispheres are connected by a bridge of nerves, fibers that relay information between the two hemispheres called the corpus callosum is the name for that. The right and left lobes are each divided into four lobes or parts or partial lobes. So frontal, temporal, and occipital lobes are part of the cerebrum. Now, the next part of the brain is called the diacephalon. This is the deep portion of the brain, also called as the hypothalamus or the thalamus is another name for this area there too. And that they're just the deeper parts within the brain there. So I'm not going to get into too much information on there, but this serves as a center for like heart rate, blood pressure, temperature control, digestive functions, behavior response, water balance, electrolytes, that kind of stuff. Okay. All right, next part I'm going to talk about is the spinal cord. Okay, now the spinal cord extends from the medulla oblongata of the brain to the area around the first lumbar vertebrae in the lower back. So the nerves of the peripheral nervous system extend out from the spinal cord, protected by a vertebral column and cerebral fluid and meninges is another thing. The meninges are three layers of membrane that cover the brain and spinal cord. Okay, that's just an area of there. Okay, so that's a little bit about the spinal cord. Like I said, the central nervous system covers your brain and spinal cord. Now, the next part of the nervous system I'm going to talk about is called the peripheral nervous system. So it's a little bit different than the central nervous system. In this system, the peripheral nervous system is a collection of peripheral nerves called ganglia. Now, these are those nerves that kind of branch off to your arms and legs and other areas, and they're specialized sensory structures that the system carries sensory and motor information between the central nervous system and all other organs and tissues of the body. So the peripheral nervous system is functionally divided into two major divisions. So there would be a sensory of afferent or afferent division or a motor or efferent division. So you got the somatic nervous system and you got the autonomic nervous system as well. So you got a couple different parts to that. So like I was saying, the sensory and motor are also included into this system here. Now, the peripheral nervous system consists of 12 pairs of cranial nerves and 31 pairs of spinal nerves. So these are the nerves that kind of run along the cranial nerves along your face, okay, and spinal around your back, okay. Cranial is going to be around your brain area. So remember, your five senses are in part of the nervous system as well, okay. So those are your olfactory for sense of smell, for smelling, optic for vision, okay, that's a cranial nerve, ocular motor, is for eye movement, okay, and trochlear or aids of muscles that move the eyes, okay. So those are some examples there. Facial expressions, tears, salivary glands, those are going to be in your facial nerves, and taste as well. So those are some of those ones would come from. Okay. All right. All right. Moving on from here. Hearing and equilibrium, we're going to be considered some of those ones there too. Tongue movement as well. Muscles of your pharynx and larynx, like from swallowing, those are your accessory ones. Speech and swallowing, those are going to be some of your cranial nerves there too. Okay. All right. The last thing I want to talk about are the sonomic nerves, nervous system, and the autonomic nervous system, and this is under the peripheral system. Okay, and nervous system. So this falls under that category. Okay. Now the somatic nervous system is responsible for receiving and processing sensory information from the skin, muscles, tendons, joints, eyes, tongue, nose, ears, as well as to excite voluntary contractions of the muscular system. The autonomic nervous system carries impulses from the nervous system to the glands, various smooth muscles, cardiac muscles, and various membranes. So this also stimulates organs, glands, and senses for that aspect there. Okay. All right. Any questions so far? It's time to ask any questions that you have. So like I said, somatic communicates within the skin and skeletal. The autonomic communicates with the smooth muscles, heart, and glands would be into that area there. Okay. All right, let's see who's been paying attention. Just a couple questions and answers here. Let's see here. What are some functions of the nervous system? What are some functions of the nervous system? You could just write your answer. Those in it that are in here, if you could just write your answer on that in the chat bar. What are some functions of the nervous system? What are some functions of the nervous system? Okay, a couple answers so far. It looks like I got here your sensory organs, your brain, your larynx, your spinal cord. Excellent. Those are good answers there. Those are some functions. Those are some of the parts. Very good that help control it. And let me ask you this question: how is the brain like a computer? Think about your computer. How is your brain like a computer? How is your brain like a computer? Okay. Val writes it controls the body. Very good. All right. So your brain controls everything that we do, right? If we're tired, we're gonna want to sleep. If we're active, we're gonna, run or move. We want to speak and talk. We're gonna talk because of the brain's gonna control that function of what we do. All right. Looks like Diego writes, it does stuff without you knowing. Very good. Okay. Some of these activities that you don't even think that you need to do, like your brain you're gonna get up in the morning, you're gonna walk, you're gonna go to the restroom, you're gonna go take a shower, you're gonna go out the door to get ready to go to school. So they'll just think the processes throughout the day that you don't even think about helps control the movements of things that you do. Your brain is a big part of that. Okay, when you want to read something, comprehending the information, working through a problem, your brain is going to work at that. Okay, if you want to run or you're lifting weights or whatever, your brain's also thinking how to do these types of things too. Okay, sometimes it's automated, sometimes we have to focus harder on certain activities as well too. All right, excellent. Good answer. All right, that kind of goes on the lines of the next question there. I was going to say, what is the Why is the brain important? But we kind of know it kind of is important for our everyday functions, how we think, how we act, how we move. It controls all of our well-being pretty much. Okay. All right. What are the two divisions of the peripheral system? That was um, the peripherals. Remember, I told you that these are the veins. These are the not the veins. These are the nerves that kind of go extend out to your arms and your legs. They call that ganglia, and they had specialized structures. Do you remember the two divisions of that nervous system? I'll be surprised if you picked up on that one there, but I'll restate them if you don't get that answer. But if you want to try to put your answer in the chat bar there, what are the two divisions of the peripheral nerves or peripheral nervous system? What are the two divisions of the peripheral nervous system? Oh, very good. Val got it. Excellent. They are the somatic and the autonomic. Very good. The somatic and autonomic. And now, just in case you forgot that, I'm going to kind of go over what that was. Okay. Again, so you know the somatic and autonomic. Somatic was it communicates with the skin and skeletal muscles. Okay. Autonomic communicates with smooth muscles, heart muscles, and different glands throughout the body. Okay. All right, looks like another question. Very good. Looks like Diego got somatic nervous system and automatic nervous system. All right, next question I have for you guys here is what are the four lobes um, of the cerebrum? Talking about the brain. Four lobes of the cerebrum. I covered these, but I kind of said those kind of quick, so don't know if you picked up on those ones as well. The four lobes of the cerebrum. So I'll put that up here so you can see that question. Four lobes of the cerebrum. I'd be able to look that one up there. The four lobes of the cerebrum. Okay, it looks like Val got that question there again there too. All right, nice job, Val. Val, four lobes of the cerebrum, again, they are the frontal, the temporal, the partial, and the occipital. These were the types of the brain. Okay, so these were the four parts of the cerebrum. Okay, all right, the frontal, temporal, occipital, and what did I say the other one was? Partial. All right, very good. Excellent. All right, does anyone remember the three parts of the brain now? The three main parts of the brain. There was really four. So if you want to write that one in, three parts of the brain. So typing it in for you to see if you can remember that. Three parts of the brain. What were they? Okay, the cerebrum is one part. Looks like Diego mentioned that. Very good. Cerebrum's one. All right. Nice job there. Cerebellum's the other. Okay. So, and the brainstem. Very good. Good job, you guys. All right. So those are the three main parts: the brainstem, the cerebrum, cerebellum. The fourth is called the thalamus or hypothalamus. Don't really have to really know much on that one, but the three main parts: brainstem, cerebrum, cerebellum. Okay. Excellent. All right. Do we have any questions so far? Okay, that's just some basics on the system. There's not a whole lot of parts to really know about this one other than neurons and reflexes and the dendrites and axons, the parts of the cell, the nerve cell, the central nervous system itself is the brain and the spinal cord. The peripheral nervous system are all these other areas that these nerves that run alongside of it, your arms and your legs that go to your fingertips to your toes. And just I was talking about some of these the systems that these the parts of the brain, how they're broken down into, where you're going to send these signals to these different nerves. Okay, so I'm not having any specifics on these specific nerves. You do not have to draw anything on this body system or label some compared to some of the other parts. Okay, it looks like we have a question here coming in from Val. Does the nervous system cause physical pain? Yes, it can. So people that are in accidents or injuries, it can have nerve pains that you can have shoot down, send signals from your brain to your legs or wherever, depending on the injury itself, on what nerve it's going to be in the body. But yeah, nerve pains can be very, very painful for some people, especially if they were in like an accident, spinal cord injury, and stuff like that. That's gonna be ones that could be very serious. Okay. All right. Yes, Val, I'm going to talk about the project next. Thanks for reminding me on that there. But do we need to write about an illness for this project? Yes, that's what I'm having you guys do. You're going to research. I'm going to get into some of the types of illnesses come on Wednesday. All right, but you can start looking some of those up. I'll probably put them on the Teams page later today or possibly tomorrow, depending on when I get that out there. And that's going to be some nervous system illnesses or diseases, okay, where it's going to cause somebody not to be able to move correctly. Some easy ones that you might want to think about, I'll talk right now just briefly on, are Parkinson's disease. Okay, it affects your motor skills there. It's from your nerves. Same with Alzheimer's as well, like with dementia. Those three would be considered ones that are going to affect your nerves and your body movements. Remember, nervous system deals mainly with control and coordination of your movements. Okay, and sending those signals. Okay, not as much on movement. Skeletal has more to do with movement. Muscles, or we'll talk a little bit muscular system probably next week. But the main thing here I want you to know is that it affects control and coordination is what that does. Okay. So yeah, the project will be on the illnesses for this type of this body system here. Okay. All right, and don't forget Brain Pops due Friday too, so that's out there as well too. All right, any other questions, comments? Parts of the brain, functions of the brain. It's our main control center. There's some basic, it controls voluntary and involuntary activities. Okay, it gives us the ability to learn, to feel good and stuff like that too. So it gives us emotions as well, different parts of the brain. It sends these sensory messages. And don't forget the three main parts to the neurons. Okay, I'll talk about that as well, are the cell body, the dendrites, and the axons. So the cell body has tiny tube-like branches called dendrites, which receive the message from the environment. The axon are what they're called nerve fibers, and it has a tube extension from the body, so they send them away. Okay, dendrites towards, axons away. Okay, that's a way to kind of remember that one there too. All right, looks like Val has a question here about nerve pain. Is there a nerve pain in the mouth or jaw? Absolutely. You could have nerve pain in your jaw and your teeth, especially teeth as well. From if you go to the dentist, you can get a nerve pain. It shoots down from maybe eating some types of candy and stuff like that. I've had some nerve pain in my mouth over the years from maybe different types of foods. Okay, and they can be pretty painful, and that usually has to do with possibly a cavity. So they have to fill that cavity so that nerve doesn't cause you any more harm or pain in your mouth. But yeah, you could get mouth pain that way too. That could be one as well. So yes. Okay, any other questions? Looks like we have a few more here. Yeah, looks like maybe, yeah, possibly there, Val. It could be from one of your baby teeth. It wasn't a baby teeth, so it looks like you said on the second line there. So if you have some mouth pain there, you might want to see a dentist because that could be from a nerve pain too. Especially if you already had your baby teeth out and then this is your permanent tooth there. That could be possibly um, maybe possibly a cavity. I'm not too sure on that number for the teeth growing up because, like you said, they fall out. I'm not too sure exactly the number on the amount of teeth there growing up. All right, any other questions relating to the nervous system and your nerves of your body, and how they work, how they function, how your brain controls a lot of the things. So, like touching a hot object or a cold object sends those signals for you to release. Hi, Carly. Thanks for checking in, Carly. Any questions you have, Carly? Hi, Hayden. How are you as well? Thanks for checking in. Any questions, Carly or Hayden, about our project this week, due Friday, on the nervous system? Okay, you have a brain pop due Friday. Your project, again, just to restate, is going to be due Friday. It's on the nervous system. And it's dealing with an illness relating to the nervous system, such as Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, dementia. These are some things that are going to affect your coordination and control. That's what that does. The nervous system affects your coordination and control. Yeah, there won't be much on the vocabulary, but I will include some there, Val, that you can put into the project there too. So I will put some vocabulary like axon, dendrites. There's not going to be much on this one. Spinal cord, brain. Those are just some right off the bat right now. I'll type a few of them in here so you can get a little head start on it, but I will put it on Teams there too. So brain, spinal cord, neurons. Okay, is another one. Dendrites, axons. These are some basic ones right here. All right, looks like Kylie just joined in. Thanks, Kylie, for popping in. Let's see, you have a question. Only diseases or the whole diagram? No diagram on this one, Kylie. Only diseases, only research on this one for this project, okay? You don't have to draw the nerves in the body. There's not many to draw. There's only the central nerve. There's really three main nerves that we're studying. That's the brain, spinal cord, and the peripheral nerves that kind of go away from those areas. So there will be no diagram on this one. Just covering the basics on the nervous system and then researching a disease related to the nervous system or affecting your nervous system, your brain, your movement, your thinking. Okay, that could be some ideas for that. Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's. These are going to be certain illnesses that affect that. Okay, got that? Very good. Thanks for popping in. Any other questions that we have? I like this. At least I'm getting some feedback here. Some more people popping in. Okay, Val had some great questions. Good questions from Kylie here. Excellent. Diego did too. I know he was in here answering a little bit ago. All right, anybody else? Any other questions on the nervous system? Okay, any other questions, comments, concerns on nervous system? Brain pop and project due Friday. I'll get more information on the project. I'll provide more information on illnesses come Wednesday on the live session like I do here. So I'll cover some specific and different types of neuro illnesses and diseases, meaning nervous system. Neuron means nerves, so same thing. Okay. Any questions, Dylan? You wrote something here. I don't know if that's pertaining to what we're talking about. Anybody else? Okay, well, any other questions? There's no other questions. I'm going to wrap up here a little bit early. Just if you have any questions about the nervous system and or project. Can anybody tell me what a dendrite is? Just have a little feedback here. What is a dendrite? See if anybody's still in here that wants to answer or participate. Since I haven't heard from anybody yet in the last couple about another minute or so. What are dendrites? What are dendrites? So I put that in the chat bar there if anyone wants to find an answer for that. What are dendrites? Hayden, do you have an idea what are dendrites? Okay, a nerve cell extension. You're on the right track, Val. I want to provide anything else on top of it. Which direction do they go? Do they go to? Okay, tell me which way do they go? To or away from the body? Do dendrites go toward or away from the cell body pertaining to the nerve? Okay, very good. They go toward the cell body. Nice job, Val. Okay, can anybody else in here, Val, or anybody else tell me what an axon is? There it is. I put it on the chat bar there. What's an axon? So can you tell me what an axon is? Okay, part of the nerve cell that's conducted from the cell body. Very good. It conducts impulses away from the cell body. So in other words, you can remember that away for axons. Okay, good. Nice job, Val. All right, so away for axons. Good job. And what are neurons? Just a basic definition. What are neurons? I'll put that in here. What are neurons? You could tell me, what are neurons? Okay, very good, Val. They are nerve cells. Good job. Neurons are just another name for nerve cells. Good job. All right, now what about the nervous system as a function? I'll just end with this one. What are some functions of the nervous system? And it can be a variety of different things. What are some functions of the nervous system? So what are some functions of the nervous system? So what are some functions of the nervous system? All right, collects information from the brain. Very good. That could be one. What's another one? It monitors the outside. Okay. The outside of the body. Very good. It monitors the outside and inside of the body. Good job. We call that balance, or what we call homeostasis. Okay, is another name. All right, I'll put that in there. Okay. All right, so that's what it also controls. And it also helps with controls coordination. Yep. All right, controls coordination as well. All right. All right, excellent. Any other questions before I wrap up? I will be back on tonight at 5 o'clock today as well too for the last session for today. And then back again on Wednesday talking about the illnesses of different types of nervous system illnesses like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. I'll have a whole list of other ones that you can think about and get information to me for your project for Friday. Okay. And then brain pops due Friday. So this was just introducing the nervous system today, covering some of the basics, how it works, how it functions. The central nervous system, the brain and spinal cord, peripheral nervous systems are the nerves that branch off from there into your arms and legs and other parts of your body. Okay, from the nerve endings, and then just basic parts, the cell body of a neuron, a nerve cell. There's a cell body, the dendrites send information away, and then axons send axons send informations away. Dendrites send informations towards us. All right, looks like we have a question here. Val, if you can't feel pain, then does that mean your nervous system doesn't work or you don't have one? Everybody has a nervous system. Sometimes you may feel pain, sometimes you may not feel pain, depending on what the activity is. So you still might have a type of nerve pain. It might not be excruciating right now. As you get older, it might start to develop. But everybody has a nervous system, so it could be a slight pain, it could be a major pain, it could be a variety of different types of pain on 1 through 10 of the scale. But yeah, nerve pain is one of the worst pains I've had as well. The feeling of a nerve cell hitting, whether it's your tooth or a leg or whatever. So yeah, it could be. There's a lot of different ones out there. All right, looks like you're trying to ask another question here. It says. I see what you mean. It says, because some people can't feel pain, so does their nervous system not work? People are still going to feel pain regardless, depending on what had happened. So, depending, they might not be completely injured in, like, say, an accident or something like that, and they might not have any. They might be able to walk away pain free with like a nerve pain, but everybody has some bit of pain and in their body, just depending on how the nerve hits on different levels. It's a good question, but again, that's going to be by individual case by case scenario with people. All right, well, I am going to wrap up for today. I will be back on at 5 if you have any more questions, and you could always email me on my email address and or Microsoft Teams. Okay, so I am going to be signing off for right now. So nice job for today. Thank you, Val. Thank you, Diego. Thank you for a few others that were participating in here as well too. So I want to hope you guys have a nice day and go outside and get some fresh air. Looks like a nice day as well in the neighborhood. So hopefully you get a chance to get outside too. So I'll be back on at 5 o'clock and again back at 8:30 on Wednesday, talking about these nervous system types of illnesses. Okay. All right, guys. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you guys later. Goodbye.